Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Let me introduce myself. My name is Yulyanah with student number 205-3012 and I'm from E-Class 2020. I will present about qualitative research. The title is Friend Circle as Motivational Factor in English Learning Process for EFL Students, a Socio-Cultural Perspective. Next. Background of the study. First, the learning behavior of students is so influenced by elements from within and the student's environment. And the second, the existence of these peers can provide social support for a student. Analyze the research aims at exploring the motivational EFL students. From the background of the study points, the outline of this reading is influence of the student learning motivation with a circle of friends. Next. Research question. The studying investigates questions related to friend circle as motivational factors in EFL students. And then the question, how are relationships between friend circle and students can affect the learning motivation in EFL? And then the objective of the study. From the explanation of the background and research question above, the objective of this research is to find out whether there is a relationship between friend circle as a motivating factor for EFL students. Next. Significance of the study. This research is expanded to provide some information regarding the development of motivational factor in EFL students. For the students, they can develop their social spirit, they can exchange ideas and train them to accept new things and study them. For teacher, the teacher knows how or what action will be applied to students if some of their students have small groups or friend circle. And the last for researchers, provide benefits regarding friends as friend circle as a student motivation factor. The scope and limitation. Scope, students' motivation to study, and the limitation is friend circle as factor of student learning motivation. I will explain about scope and limitation. The study focuses on identifying the influence of friend circle within the learning process motivation for English foreign language. Students' friend circle as a motivation also have a good impact and a bad impact on the learning process for EFL students. Next. The literature review, theoretical framework for learning process, second motivational, and third friend circle. First, I will explain about learning process. Learning process or EFL teaching has its shortcomings. Learners are too passive and learners rely on teacher to acquire information of learning. One is for those who immigrated to English-talking international location. The opposite is for international location that after colonizing English-talking international location consisting of Africa and some international Southeast Asia. For this international location, their English talent determines whether or not they could live to the tell or not see. And then I will explain about motivational. Motivational has various of type. Various of type motivational is a objective motivation, organic needs are types of motivation, and emergency motivation. And objective motivation is a type of motivation that is directed to objects or goals around us. This motivation includes the need for exploring, manipulation, and interest. This motivation arises because of the yours to face the world effectively. And then organic needs are types of motivation related to internal needs such as eating, drinking, moving, and resting or sleeping, and so on. And then the emergency motivation is the scope or yours to shift oneself to your to retaliate, to your to try, to your to pursue. And motivation arises when the situation demands the emergency of face and strong activity from a person. And the emergency motivation does not arises from one's wishes, but because of external stimuli. And then forensical refers to the connection among us who confined with the equal goals. In essence, you have got something in not answer place with these people. For example, liking football, following the equal organization, and so on. The following points explanation the characteristic of being in a circle of friends. At the same time, it can also be seen whether the circle of friends is good or bad. And then there is acceptance in ourselves when we are among people who can accept what we are. We are already in a circle of friends. Cut friends will not demand other friends to be in the same class as themselves. And then do we like and appreciate use for who we are, and so each member of this friendship can be themselves. This is a respect for each other privacy. A good friendship will fill with the personal space of this member, and neither ourselves nor our friends will have our own privacy in times of need. And then professor-related studies, Jackie and Alnoy, the title is Effect of Group Work on EFL Students' Attitude and Learning in Higher Education. And then the year 2040, the purpose the journal is find out whether group work on EFL has an impact, positive or negative. And the second one, the title is Friendship in Middle School, Influences on Motivation and School Adjustment, the year 24. The purpose of the journal is to evidence to the motivational process mediate relations between friends and individuals. Processual behavior was obtained for the student with reciprocated friendship. And the last is Sugita McOwn, Turkey motivational strategies in EFL classroom. How the teacher impact students' motivation, the year 2040. And then the purpose is provide some insight into how student perceptions of significant others, and particularly the teacher support or the support the motivation for later research existed included the parties by which teacher impacts students motivation to their teaching strategies. Next, the technique of data collection, the first interview, second observation, and the third documentation. The first interview, I will explain about technique of data collection interview. Interview is two people or more talking in the place, and this step of interview is to data in the form of information obtained instead in writing or record audiovisual or audiovisual interview are the main activity in observational studies. Interview can be direct or indirect. Interview are used in research to overcome the weakness of the observation method in data collection. And then the observation. After the interview, any observation, I'll explain about observation. Observation is a data collection technique that is carried out through an observation accompanied by notes on the situation or the behavior of the target. Observation has types, and the first is participatory observation, and the second systematic observation, and the last is observation. And technique of data collection in class is documentation. Documentation is one method of collecting qualitative data by viewing or analyzing documents made by the subject himself or by the subject. Documentation is a way of obtaining data by reviewing written documents, which can be in the form of data, pictures, table, and diagrams. Technique of data analysis, thematic analysis. Thematic analysis is one way to analyze the data with the aim of identifying patterns and finding data that has been collected by researchers. Thematic analysis stages first understanding data. Getting the desired data does not mean that the researchers understands the phenomenon being studied, because for the research aim to explore in depth what happened from and even through the participants' perspective. The recording and transcripts of interview are like treasure of researchers that need to be explored in more depth. And then the composing code. Composing code is the second stage in thematic analysis process. To start coding, this coding can be think it a librarian who is determining the subject of a book title, or like the reader trying to find main idea of a paragraph. Codes can also be true of labels. And then for team at this stage, the researchers begin to shift his attention from what was originally looking for coding, now changing to looking for a theme. This theme describes something important in the data related to the formulation of the research problem. Next. And thank you very much for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.